Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we're going to talk about it right here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib, and we got a great show for you today. And I guess judging by the amount of content, Beeb, we'll be here till about 7:15 or 6:15 or so.
Sure.
Because there was nothing going on this weekend, man. What was going on with that, man? Nothing. This is like the COVID days or something like that.
I don't get it, WrestleMania? Man.
We did. My son watched it. My son wanted to watch it, so we ended up watching that. Yeah, we ended up watching that.
Did Steve Austin look good?
No. I mean, it was the kind of match I think he needed to have because it was one of those things where he can't like really work in the ring anymore because he's slow. You could tell he was a lot slower. It's funny watching these guys come out, after they've, and watching them against the newer wrestlers and how much slower they really are. But they brawled outside the ring. It was like a brawling type of match. So, I mean, he looked good for what he did. He didn't look bad for what he did.
Really?
Yeah. But Kevin Owens, I think, made him look pretty good, and they had the right kind of match for him. That was because he's not going to be in like a wrestling type of technical wrestling match or whatever. He can't do anything like that anymore,
So there's only so much he can really do.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And I think he's probably got a ton of injuries, I would think. Yeah. I mean, I would imagine. I mean, after doing it that long, right? Got to have a bunch of injuries.
His neck is can't even move his neck.
Yeah. I mean, it's not good, man. Tell you what, that stuff got to take a toll on you, man. Because those rings, all that stuff just falling is hard.
He was taking bumps.
Kind of falling is hard. Yeah.
He was telling me he was taking bumps.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he took a few of them. What did he take? A suplex on the concrete, I think it was.
That's what someone told me, yeah.
Yeah, or up on the stage or wherever it was. Yeah, I mean, he took some shots, man.
Took some shots.
Yeah. Punch Smollett said Cody Rhodes was the best part of that show last night. Yeah, I think so too. That was pretty cool. So, I think a lot of people were expecting him to show up, but then there was other rumors saying other people were going to show up, but I'm glad it was him. So.
That was cool.
Anywho, back to boxing, man. You guys got any questions? 323-870-3857. Tonight, we're going to talk about Devin Haney getting the biggest fight of his career so far. He's going to face George Kambosos, and we'll have all the details for you. We'll also talk about the slap heard around the world, and I know, BB talked about that earlier this week, and we'll go over it. And first, we're going to get started with, I would say the fights this weekend, but there were none. No fights this weekend, so let's just go to the upcoming.
What about Savannah Marshall? Come on!
Oh, come on.
Please.
Does that really count? So who does she even fight? Who does she even fight?
It was a
It wasn't even televised. Wasn't even televised. That's terrible.
All you had to do was go. It was all over Twitter. She was trending on Twitter, Savannah Marshall.
She was trending on your Twitter timeline. Nobody else's.
Come on. Big
difference, son. Big difference.
Your misogyny knows no limits.
It's wide open.
It knows no limits.
No limits. No limits. I like that. No limits. Eric, no limits. It's my new nickname now. No limits. All right. What about this? What about these two broads fight? Talk about this cat fight for a minute here. We got Savannah Marshall, Femke Hermans. All right. And full disclosure here, I did see this knockout, this beautiful fight here. Went about 3 rounds against an overmatched opponent. Savannah Marshall went in there and knocked her out in 3 rounds. Yeah, I get it. What do you make of that? I mean, listen, not for nothing, Clarissa Shields is going to wipe the floor with her. It won't be close. That fight won't even be close. Did you see? Why does she carry her hands way down here? What is she doing?
She's trying to bait her opponent in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to work well. Trust me. She ain't getting past Clarissa Shields, and I don't even know if I watched that fight. But either way,
you better watch that fight.
Either way, that fight doesn't do a thing for me, man.
She's 5'11" and a half, this girl, right? She's like, what's her name? Christina Hammer, but with way more power.
She's nothing like Christina Hammer, let me tell you that.
I like Christina Hammer.
I've seen Christina Hammer, and Savannah Marshall is no Christina Hammer.
You think Christina Hammer is a better fighter than Savannah Marshall?
I don't know about any of that. No, I don't know about that.
Okay.
But hey, listen, man. I've seen
Please.
Christina Hammer and I've seen Savannah Marshall. Trust me, I'm taking Christina Hammer home.
Wow.
So no.
Wow, that's crazy.
Everybody's saying that was a brutal knockout. It wasn't a brutal knockout.
So
I didn't think it was that brutal.
That was a one-hitter quitter.
Again, who was she fighting? Who was this chick she was fighting?
The girl that she fought went the full 10 with Clarissa Shields.
You know what would be an awesome fight is Christina Hammer and Ebony Bridges. Wouldn't that be awesome? Like having them both there at the weigh-ins and stuff. And
come on.
What'd I say?
Please.
Oh, man. I didn't even say nothing.
So there's this place in Providence called the Foxy Lady. And we took my friend there. We took my friend there for his bachelor party.
Yeah.
And they let you.
So what is this place? This Foxy Lady place? What is it exactly?
You get you get like lap dances. The girls kind of strip and they do lap dances for you, right?
It's a strip club, right?
It's an upscale strip club with a little bit extra benefits.
It's an upscale strip club.
And
is there such a thing as an upscale strip club? I mean, what is that? What does that mean?
Oh, this place is nice. If I took you there, you probably wouldn't want to leave. So they have this thing called the foam wrestling, and my buddy, they put my buddy in the foam pit with these two girls, and they were throwing him around like he was a rag doll. It was awesome. My buddy was small. My buddy's a small guy too.
That's funny, man.
But I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you to say something like Ebony Bridges and Christina Hammer would fight in a match similar to that, because that's
mud or something like that, like mud wrestling or something.
That's how your misogyny is.
Like a mud wrestling match between those two.
Yeah.
Nice cat fight.
Please.
All right. So what do you think? You think Savannah Marshall's actually going to beat Clarissa Shields? Is that what I'm understanding here?
I don't know. I guess I'd have to favor Clarissa Shields, man. I have to favor her, but
yeah,
I don't think it's a walk in the park.
It's a skill nightmare for Savannah Marshall.
Because Clarissa, one thing I like about Clarissa Shields is she's got really quick feet, and she moves very well in there. She's in and out. She throws quick combinations. She's out and she's out before. She's a very smart fighter. In other words, she doesn't take damage. She's not there to slug it out, but she's strong. She's a strong woman, right? And she can push you back. I don't know. I think it's going to be a great fight, to be honest with you, because the styles. Because Clarissa Shields is that in and out type fighter, real fast feet. Savannah Marshall's the type of person that likes to set traps, and she's a counter puncher. And she likes to set her opponent up. So I could see this be like, this could look like a Manny Pacquiao, one Manuel Marquez type fight. You know, see how those two styles meshed very well together. That's how I think.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll be a long way away from Pacquiao Marquez. I'm just saying.
Listen.
Just saying.
I'm not saying it's going to.
And also, too, not for nothing, but 100% of the audience agrees with me. Look at this. I'm with Eric. Women's boxing isn't entertaining. They need more knockouts.
That's
100% of the audience is on my side, B.
That's one person.
Yeah, but he represents. He's like one of the,
To be honest, the intrigue of this fight is Marshall's power. If she can land one big shot, could it change and turn the fight? But like Ryan Hong says in the chat, I do think that Clarissa Shields' speed is going to be too much for Marshall.
I think so too. Marshall is lacking technically, and she's lacking big time. I mean, she carries those hands super low. Listen, man, Clarissa Shields throws punches, and she's just a busy fighter. She's not trying to land a big shot. She's just connecting.
She's running those combinations. That's what I'm saying.
While she's connecting, you're going to be thinking, and you're posting it because you're not going to beat her in a decision. You're hoping you can land one lucky shot. Clarissa Shields is going to run this.
I don't know, man.
That's right.
I don't know. I think it's going to be a good fight. I'll just put it that way.
Look at that. Even Dwayne says 100%. There it is. Right.
He's 100% of one person in the audience.
Said 100% he agrees. You seen it. You seen the comment.
Well,
would I watch a fight between Jada Smith and Margot Robbie? Oh yeah, I'd watch that. Maybe get Margot Robbie a different opponent, but yeah, I would watch that. I like Margot Robbie. It'll be good. It'll be very good. All right, let's go to the real fights coming up next week.
What do you mean real fights? I mean, female boxing is real boxing. You got to show this. You got to show them the respect you show the men.
Do you got one of your honey dips watching or something like that? Is that why this Beeb, this sensitive Beeb is showing up today? Is that what we're doing here?
Views of Eric Lauder are not shared by the staff here at Ringside Reporter or Beeb Industries.
Just saying. Just saying.
Full disclaimer.
Full disclaimer. All right, so we got to find out when this fight is. I'm talking about the Golovkin fight because that's April 9th. But, okay, coming up April 9th, man. This is next week. ESPN and ESPN Plus. I thought this was the co-main. Who was on the main event on this card? Michaela Mayer versus Jennifer Hahn. 10 rounds for Mayer's IBF and WBO women's title or whatever.
I think that's the main event, actually.
I thought they had somebody else at main event.
I don't think so.
No? All right, well.
I don't think so.
I'll be watching the undercard then. And then Duke Reagan. The reason I'm watching the undercard is that Duke Reagan is actually on that card. No, Duke Reagan. Olympic Duke Reagan. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like Duke.
You know where he's from, right?
He's from Ohio.
You know where, though, right? Cincinnati, son.
Cincinnati, baby.
Cincinnati, baby. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. April 9th from Saitama, Japan on DAZN. Gennady Golovkin versus Ryota Murata. 12 rounds for Golovkin's IBF middleweight title and Murata's WBA super middleweight title. All right, we'll talk about that in a second here. April 9th on DAZN from Texas. Ryan Garcia versus Emmanuel Tagoe. 12 rounds lightweights. Marlon Esparza also on the undercard, defending her title. Gabe Rosado versus Shane Mosley Jr. That's a good one. That's a pretty good fight. I like that a lot. So yeah. So those will be the fights there. April 9th April 9th is packed, son. Erickson Lubin on Showtime. April 9th versus Sebastian Fundora. 12 rounds, junior middleweights. Tony Harrison versus Sergio Garcia. 12 rounds. And let me see if there's any more. There's a couple more fights, but they won't be televised, and they're not interesting anyway. All right. There we go. Let's talk about this Golovkin fight, Beeb, because that's the main fight this year, and then we'll talk about the Garcia fight. The main fight this weekend anyway. And we got to find out when that takes place. Typically, if they do it, it's like 9 a.m. or something like that. Or it's usually early here, isn't it? Like
I'll
7?
I'll show you on the zone. Will have it on the schedule. I think it starts early. Let me double check the schedule here. Give me 1 second on the DAZN thing here. So that's the 9th. That's the 9th. Okay.
And I imagine they'll have a replay in prime time.
Guess what
I'm
time
wondering if it's going to be 7.
No, 5. The card starts at 5:10 a.m. in the morning. So the main event will probably be at like
7 or 8 a.m.
About 8 a.m. ish.
Now, is that going to be on the 9th?
That's on the
or
9th.
The 10th.
It's listed on the 9th here.
Okay.
It's listed as Saturday at 5:10 a.m.
Okay, Saturday. Okay, so it's listed as Saturday at 5:10 a.m. Okay,
Yeah.
I gotcha. So yeah, if it starts at 5:10, then Golovkin, and then you could sleep for a couple hours. 3, but I would say about 7 or 8 a.m. it should get started. Wow.
So if Robbie wants to watch that card, it's going to start at fucking 2 in the morning, man.
He's probably up. I think he's probably one of those guys that's up all night.
He's going to have Mrs. Herrick make him a hot cup of cocoa while he's watching this one. They'll be making s'mores for this one.
So who do you like in this fight, man? This is a tough one for me. Golovkin's definitely on the slide. I really think that. I think a lot of people think he's still at his prime, but he's not. He's nowhere near. He's 40 years old. Murata's, I think, 36 or something like that? 34, 36, somewhere in there. you know what, Murata, here's the deal, man. Murata's going to stand in front of him. You know, Murata's not like a cutesy boxer or anything like that. He's going to stand in front of him. And then what, you know, will he be able to take Golovkin's power? I don't know. You know, a couple of things play against Golovkin here. Number one, he's traveling all the way to Japan. I don't think traveling to somebody's spot is new to him. But in Japan, you know, Murata's a big hero over there. He's like Inoue over there. He's a huge celebrity. I don't know, man. You know, this fight is kind of a toss-up for me. I would have to take, I'm going to go off the cuff because I can only go on what I've seen of Golovkin, and he doesn't look good. He hasn't looked good in a long time. And you could say he was sick before this fight, or he was having problems before this fight. Listen, the bottom line is this guy has not looked good in a long, long time. I'm gonna edge it to Murata here. I'll take Murata. I think Murata gets a decision. I think it could be hard to win a decision in Japan. I don't know. Depends on where the judges are from, but I don't know.
Here's the thing. When you look at Murata, he's kind of a stalker type guy, keeps his hands up high, and he's an inside fighter, but he's a very pressure aggressive type fighter, like likes to come forward. He's got a pretty solid hard jab. He's got a really good jab. Doesn't move his head incredibly a lot, but when he's inside, he dips and ducks a little bit. You would say to yourself, this is the style that is perfect for Triple G, right? The guy that comes right at you inside.
Yeah.
Triple G likes that. But here's the thing. Derevyanchenko was the same type of style, similar to Murata, but with less power. And I thought he beat Triple G up. Then you look at the second Canelo fight. And Canelo fought his fight. He came at him, right?
Fought exactly his fight. Yes, he did.
So these were two occasions where you had guys who fought his type of fight. And obviously Canelo got the decision. And I thought Derevyanchenko, and I don't want to speak for you, but I think you believe that Derevyanchenko won that fight too as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so.
So this is another guy who's probably going to, like I said, fight the perfect fight that Golovkin likes, and they're gonna go at it. But this is a guy that's got more in the tank. You could argue at this point is physically stronger, right? So in my opinion, I think I could see Murata grinding out a hard fight. I think Murata's going to stop him, actually. I think this could be the fight, in my opinion, that Triple G hits the wall, right? And I think Murata's just going to wear him down, because one thing I do like about Murata, he's an outstanding body puncher, and after he throws that body shot, he comes right back up with the uppercut. He's a solid fighter. He's not the most defensively gifted guy in the world. Doesn't have those, slick type fast twitch reflexes on the defensive end.
Right.
But he's a very strong, aggressive, he keeps defensively responsible guy. Like, he'll pick shots off, and you know what I mean? He's really good at fighting out of that high guard. And that works for him. And he doesn't just walk in. He has one of those hard type jabs, one of those authoritative type jabs that when he hits you with it, it's not only a setup punch, but he pushes you back with it. He's a very heavy-handed, strong guy. I mean, it's going to be a very, very entertaining fight, but I'm going to go Murata by like 9th round stoppage here.
Yeah, Dwayne, who agrees with me 100% of the time, he says that the only problem is if Triple G wins, we'll have a pointless third Canelo fight. I got to be honest with you, and maybe that's part of my rationale for picking Murata. I just don't want to see that fight again. I don't. I mean, it's completely pointless.
Full disclosure, I'm picking Murata here because of that as well. But I also think he can win. I do think he can win this fight.
I think he could definitely win this fight. Like I said, man, Golovkin has not looked good in a long time. Now, I know Romanian Mike in the chat, there's a couple others in the chat saying, blah, blah, blah. But listen, if he wins, we'll give him. I mean, listen, he gets all the props in the world if he wins. He's Triple G, man. I love Triple G. I know it doesn't sound like it, but I do, man. I love watching him fight. But I think he's gone too far now. I think it's time for him to go.
You would think the guys that would bother him are
what
the guys that
Notorious VC talking about here. Why don't you guys put a bet on Murata then? What do you want me to bet? I don't know if I'd bet a pie bet on this. Would you? This is a close fight. I'm not saying he's going to get blown out, but I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't bet a pie on this.
I would bet on Murata. I'll probably lay a little money on Murata. Why not?
I could win a ton of money if I'm so confident. I'm not that confident. I mean, I think the fight could go either way. I've already said that. Yeah, I think the fight can go either way. So what does he want us to bet? I saw something here.
Well, Notorious VC, do you want to bet? What do you want to do here?
I got you right here. He says $20 super chat against Robbie not calling for a month. I'll talk on this fight.
Why?
So I guess if we win, why would we ban Robert for a month?
I'm not going to ban Robert. This is the fucking highlight of his life.
Why would I?
You think I want to be responsible?
Put him in the bet? Why would I put him in the bet? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not going to be responsible for having him on suicide watch and having that over my head. If he couldn't call in every week, what would he do with himself?
A lot of people taking Triple G in this fight, and you know what? And he's a favorite, so you should. I'm just, like I said, man, and it's fine, but
that's the one thing I don't like about Notorious VC. He's got beta male tendencies. Why are you so emotionally invested? Like why do you feel the need to be offended that we're picking against Golovkin? Like,
stop.
Why would that bother you, man? Jesus Christ.
Full disclosure, and you guys will see me wear it on here. I have a Triple G shirt. I have a Gennady Golovkin shirt. I love Golovkin. Just because you pick against a guy doesn't mean you don't like him. Doesn't mean you don't like him. Just because you say, just because you pick against him, or you say he's on the slide, doesn't mean,
Notorious VC, I'm going to need a screenshot of your betting slip for Golovkin since you're talking so much smack.
Oh, he'll probably bet on Golovkin.
Let me see what the odds are. Let me see
6
what the
to
odds
1.
are.
I heard they were 6 to 1 right before post time here.
Let me see. Let me see what these freaking odds are.
Romanian Mike said, "What a disrespect to Triple G."
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Guys are such man fans, bro.
Ryan Hong says plus 350. Wow. I thought it was a 6 to 1.
Oh, Golovkin is a minus 650. Murata is a plus 410. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He's 6 to 1.
Yeah. Wow. So that's a nice little. Why not throw like 100 or 50 or 100 on Murata? Why not?
Romanian Mike said Triple G never got stopped or dropped. Beat Canelo twice, has the highest KO ratio in middleweight history and most title defenses. All that is true. However, he did not beat Canelo twice. He beat him once. And you can listen, I can make a case for that second fight being a draw. I can make a case for Canelo winning that second fight. I cannot make a case for Triple G winning that second fight.
I actually had Golovkin winning both fights, full disclosure. I did think he won the second fight.
You're a Golovkin pom-pom waver, dude. Seriously, you're like a big Golovkin honk. Come on.
I actually bet on him the second fight, too.
Yeah.
And I lost.
Why don't you go cover up with your Triple G blanket already? How about that?
There's not much faith in Murata, though, huh? Shit.
No, not much at all.
Wow.
Not much at all, man. I was shocked when I saw the odds. I didn't think they were going to be that far apart. But, hey, listen, man, these guys make their money for a reason. They usually know something we don't, But then again, most of the chat seems to know something we don't, so they're all picking Triple G. But I'm going to stick with my pick. I think Murata gets him. I think Murata wins a decision. I think he wins a hard-fought decision. And honestly, I think that, I wonder if his strategy might be to take those legs away from Golovkin. To me, that would be a good strategy. But
I think Derevyanchenko was a similar. I think he was. I want to say he was like maybe a +5 or a +6. So,
Romanian Mike says he still got out jabbed and outboxed. Talking about Canelo in the second fight.
Yeah, I did think he got out jabbed in that second fight. Golovkin landed Golovkin's jab was really good in that second fight. I
don't know. I had that second fight a draw. Triple G had to come back to get the draw. Canelo, I think you got to give him. Again, I had the draw. So did the judges. So
imagine if they had the second fight a draw. Has there ever been a fight? Has there ever been a situation where a guy fought a guy twice and he had back-to-back draws? Has that ever happened?
No, I remember Terry Norris when he fought. Who was that guy? Was it? I don't know if it was
Something
Santiago.
Santana.
That was it. Where he got disqualified he fought this guy who got disqualified 2 or 3 times.
The guy kept fucking taking dives on him, bro. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was great.
It was utterly ridiculous, bro.
That was the only one I remember where it was like the same outcome, like the same goofy outcome twice. All right, so let's talk about the one in San Antonio, Texas, next week. Ryan Garcia versus Emmanuel Tagoe. Listen, this is a showcase fight for Ryan Garcia. They're going to put in Tagoe in there, and he's going to get beat, and he's going to get beat sound. What do you look for in this fight, B, from Ryan Garcia?
I'm looking to see if he takes Tagoe lightly and maybe he's a little too aggressive and maybe is sloppy in this fight. I'm looking to see if he throws like one punch at a time, looking for loading up and not really setting the shots up properly. Because a lot of times when you're coming off a long layoff, you tend to have a lot of pent up energy inside you, and then when you go in there, you just kind of go apeshit crazy on a guy. So I'm looking to see if he's actually going to box and set shots up and break him down, or if he's just going to go wild on him, right? Because again, Tagoe's not a huge puncher. He's heavily favored to beat Tagoe. So what's his mentality going into this fight is what I'm curious to see. And then, you change trainers. So sometimes that's a problem trying to transition. This is a guy that's had like 3 trainers already. And is it
Goosen? Goosen is now training him?
Correct. Yeah. Goosen's training him. So I'm just curious to see how he puts all this together and the whole depression thing and the layoff, and there's just so many
to deal with.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of obstacles to deal with.
Yeah, it's just so many question marks. And then the pressure of him coming back, and I don't know. He seems like a guy who just has a lot of things swirling around in his head, and you just don't know what the hell he's going to do at any point in time.
They're pumping him up over at Golden Boy to be a franchise type of guy, a Canelo type of guy, that brings the money in and stuff like that. And, he's a young kid, man. He's a young guy. And I think that gets lost. And I think that gets lost in the promotions. I think it gets lost with his people and everything like that. He's got a lot of pressure on him, especially if he's dealing with depression on top of all that. That's a lot for him to say, hey, man, I got to overcome all this and then go out there and do this. And it's a tough thing, man. It's a really tough thing. A couple of people in the chat say that Tagoe is a terrible opponent for Garcia. I agree, but you got to understand what this is. This is like a comeback fight.
Yeah.
This is a comeback fight, so you're not going to get the best out here. He's going to have 1 or 2 more of these, and then I think he's going to step up. They're going to have him step up a little bit into a bigger name or something like that. But I look for Ryan Garcia to carry this out 4 or 5 rounds. I look for him to dominate the fight. I think if he doesn't dominate the fight, he could, perception is going to be a problem for him in the future. But I look for him to, pitch a shutout here, if not put this guy away. I'm going to be looking to see if he still has the skills, the speed, everything like that. All that stuff, all the intangibles should be there. But what you'd also look for is ring rust. You want to see he's going to be a little bit slow, or if he's going to be able to move a little bit. Is he having too much trouble landing shots that he should have been able to land? That's kind of what you're going to be looking for in this fight.
Yeah.
On that undercard, though, let's talk about that Gabe Rosado fight, man. Shane Mosley and Gabe Rosado.
It's a good fight.
That's a decent fight, right? I mean, that's one of those fights that's like not a main event quality fight, but I want to watch it, because I think it could be a fun fight.
Yeah.
If Gabe Rosado's put in a position now, like if he loses anything, it's going to be tough for him to come back.
Gabe's found a nice little niche for himself, because even when he loses, he does good enough that people want to see him come back, and he's always finds himself on a network or a platform, and he's always he's always putting himself out there. He's always getting these opportunities, and he makes pretty good money. So people want him to retire, but it's hard because he doesn't really take bad beatings. I mean, the Golovkin fight was probably a tough fight. You could say, wow, that was a rough one for him. But other than that, he's always been in every fight he's fought, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you know, and look, man, he's could be a movie star. I mean, he could retire now and become a movie star. You know, he was in that Creed movie or whatever, but this guy can, you know, once he retires, he can do anything he wants. You know, why does he stay fighting? I don't know. But so far, I mean, he's in there, you know, and like I said, I thought he beat Daniel Jacobs. I thought that, you know, he's got it, you know, he's kind of like Chocolatito in the way that, you know, you've seen him and it's just like he's got to go. And now all of a sudden he's put together this career that's like, what, he should have been gone a while ago, you know, and found it again, you know, found that second win, I guess.
You know what's crazy too is he does some broadcast work occasionally for DAZN, and he's actually a really good broadcast. He's a good commentator.
Yeah,
does some commentary work for them. So you know that's another thing I like about what a lot of these networks are doing, particularly DAZN. They're bringing a lot of fighters. I love the fact that they bring fighters in to do commentary work, give them a life outside of boxing, give them a job, something to do. I think that's so cool. And shout out to PBC because they were kind of like the first to do it, but DAZN does it a lot now too. And I think
see. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think Jessica McCaskill does a phenomenal job too. Yeah. Come on.
I didn't say a word.
Come on.
I was gonna start talking.
Sinisa Estrada, she's another great commentator. I mean, come on.
Who is she? What does she do?
She's a world champion, man.
Who?
Sinisa Estrada. She's a female flyweight champion.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Come on, she's one of the best female fighters in the world right now.
All right.
This is horrible. The views and opinion of Eric Lauda are not shared by the staff here at Ringside Reporter or Beeb Industries. It's horrible, man.
Terrible. Talk Trends thinks that I saw he posted earlier. He thinks that Garcia is going to lose. He thinks that Tagoe is going to win a decision here. Hey,
really?
Yeah. How about that?
Interesting.
Upsets can happen, man. Listen, man. Yeah, upset will happen. You know what I would like to see? What I was saying is that I would like to see him take like a guy like who used to box and no longer boxes or whatever, but wasn't a primetime kind of guy. You know, like, because I bet those guys have a lot of knowledge and really can sometimes break it down better than the bigger, you know, the bigger stars of the sport, you know, but I don't know. Joe Ramos was asking, did I watch WrestleMania? I did. I like the Cody Rhodes segment. The last segment was pretty good. Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey was really good. So there you go.
How did Ronda Rousey do good?
Yeah, she lost. I mean, but they had Charlotte keep the belt or whatever. But it was good. It was a good match.
Is she gonna come back now, or she just did like a one and done?
I think she signed a new contract with him. I would imagine she did because she's been wrestling up until then.
Yeah.
So
it's funny how they get everyone over there, man. Vince does great job.
You know, did really good. Logan Paul was there last night, and he did really good too. I mean, he looked. You know, there was a couple spots like you could tell he botched a little bit, but overall, man, for being in there but you know, again, those guys have been doing this so long, they can make anybody in that ring look good. I think. I really believe that, man.
The leapfrog he did looked awesome, and then he did the split.
Yeah.
Did the crowd like him?
I think so. I think they were definitely into it.
He was the heel.
They were the
right?
bad guys. Yeah, they were the heels. You know, but they were definitely into it.
Who was his tag team partner?
The Miz.
Oh, okay.
The Miz, and he's like a big time heel too. So
did they lose or they win?
They won, and then the Miz turned on Logan Paul, which was really good too.
Why did the Miz turn on Logan Paul?
Nobody knows. You know, it's one of those things. You know how it goes. Nobody knows. All of a sudden, you're friends with him, and then you get hit by a chair. You know, it was like.
I bet you Logan Paul gets his check this time.
Vince Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I always thought about this. Like, if life mimicked pro wrestling, like you were just in the office and you know you just go up to somebody and just start talking trash to them. Next thing you know, you're getting hit in the head by the chair or something like that. You know, like could you imagine like going in there and having that whole I
That's
don't know.
crazy.
It's nuts, man.
It's hilarious.
There's another big one this weekend too. April 9th on Showtime. Erickson Lubin versus Sebastian Fundora. This is a really fun fight, man. Erickson Lubin lost to Charlo. He's Sebastian Fundora is that tall, rangy guy that he's 8 foot tall and he's a junior middleweight or something like that. I mean, he's huge. This is a good fight, man. I like this fight a lot. Erickson Lubin is very technical. He's got power. So does Fundora. Just him being naturally tall is going to give him some power, you know. So, who do you like here? I like Sebastian in this fight, but I think this is a 50-50 fight.
It's a tough one. I'm gonna lean towards Sebastian though, because I think he's a bigger, stronger, and he's a bigger, stronger guy, and I think he's a good puncher.
He's a big guy.
I think the size is gonna present problems. Yeah.
Okay, so how good would Sebastian Fundora be if he had Manny Stewart as his trainer?
Oh, he'd be the best. Because
you think so?
Manny Stewart works really good with tall fighters.
It's the first thing I thought of when I saw him. I was like, whenever I see a tall fighter like that, because he has a tendency to fight a little bit more on the inside than he should.
Sure.
You know, with a tall guy like that, I mean, he should win every fight with no problem.
He has a lot of Paul Williams tendencies.
Yes.
Remember Paul Williams? He reminds me of Paul Williams a little bit.
Yeah, he's in a wheelchair now, man.
I know. It's so
Wasn't
sad.
it a motorcycle accident or something like that?
Yeah, it breaks my heart, man.
And you know what? That guy is happy-go-lucky as you'd ever see, man.
Yeah.
I mean, just a wonderful guy, man.
He's a great person.
Yeah. You know how miserable I'd be if I was in that position? I'm miserable now.
I know. I don't even want to don't even say that. I don't even want to think of it, man.
It's insane.
Maybe.
Centurion wants to know our opinion on the Will Smith slap. We'll get to that in a little bit here. Let's see here, and that's the fights for next weekend. A lot of fights. This weekend was a little.
You had nothing this weekend. And
we had zero this weekend.
Too much next weekend. Like you're gonna have to go crazy trying to keep up with all these fights.
It's insane. All right, let's go to Robert here. He's on the line. Robert.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Word.
First of all, Notorious VC, you always type on your computer. I'd like to hear you call in and express your opinion on these fights. Number one, now look, if you've been listening to these shows long enough, you know I've always supported Triple G. But Father Time is undefeated. And he's going to be 40 years old on April the 8th. He fights on April the 9th. There's no way that Triple G is going to win a decision in Japan because Murata is the superstar over there. The only way Triple G can win that fight is if he knocks him out. And I don't know what the chances are of him doing that. I'm picking Murata to win this fight for the same reason that Joe and Eric are. I do not want to see a Canelo Triple G third fight. Now, I wonder, with this new deal that Canelo signed with Matchroom, if Triple G loses, does that September date automatically go to somebody else? Or is he obligated, no matter what happens with Triple G, to give him that fight in September?
I don't know.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't privy to that meeting, so I have no idea. Beeb, were you privy to that meeting?
I would assume if he loses, the fight's not going to happen.
No, because it's not worth anything at that point.
Thank God.
I don't think you can. It's crazy you say that, Robbie, because remember when Roy Jones was going to fight Bernard Hopkins the second time? Yeah. And he got knocked out by Danny Green in the interim. They both had interim fights before they were going to fight each other. And then Bernard Hopkins still fought him. Still fought Roy Jones. It was crazy.
No, that's what I'm afraid of here. I don't know how that contract is written, since it's a 2-fight deal, and he's supposed to get $85 million, and both fights are supposed to be on pay-per-view. If Triple G loses, which, frankly, I think he's going to do, but is he obligated to give him that fight? I mean, I would like to see that fight in September. I'd like to see that fight in September to go to somebody like David Benavidez, for example. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
come on. I have always been a Golovkin supporter, but frankly, I don't want to see them fight a third time. So I hope Murata messes up everybody's plans.
Do you think Triple G belongs in the Hall of Fame, Robert?
Yes, I do.
Well, wait, you said before that you didn't think he belonged in the Hall of Fame.
No, because of what, 23 or 24 successful title defenses. I think that automatically gets him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that gets him in the Hall of Fame. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, son.
Yeah, but no, I because of the stipulations with this fight, I don't want to see him win it, because I don't want to be sitting here on Mexican Independence Day weekend and watching Canelo tear him apart, because that's exactly what's going to happen if they fight a third time. Canelo has improved, and Triple G has gotten too old, and if they fight again, it's going to be a no contest.
You're giving him no shot.
Wow.
No,
I don't give him any shot to beat Canelo. I'll tell you that.
No, because I'm not giving him a shot to beat Canelo, Joe, because frankly, he's been out of the ring more than he's been in it. And
Robbie, I hate
give Canelo Alvarez.
I hate to give you a
You've
stick,
got to
but
give Canelo Alvarez credit.
I hate to give you a stick.
He fights often. All right.
I hate to give you a stick, but I got to do this because the producers are pulling up footage of you saying that Triple G doesn't belong on the Hall of Fame. Now, let's be fair about this. Let's be fair about this. Are you changing your stance on that?
Okay.
Are you changing your stance on that?
Because the more I thought about it, and the number of title defenses that he actually succeeded in, that he does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. But I believe that this should be his last fight.
Now, Eric didn't threaten you or anything behind the scenes to coerce you to say that. This is your own opinion now, right?
No. And look, nobody's going to threaten me, but I've always had to.
Well, Eric's a bully. He's always been. Eric's a bully. He's always been.
I've always had to defend. I've always had to defend Eric. I mean, Golovkin.
No, you don't have to defend Eric. He's a bully.
Doctor, and because a lot of people like Fight Doctor and others literally can't stand him. But look, it's time. Father Time is undefeated. It's time for him to go, and I hope Murata does everybody a favor.
Well, let me ask you a question. Would you consider yourself a fair-weathered fan now? Because just because he had a couple of shaky performances, you don't even want to be a fan of his anymore?
No, I didn't say I didn't want to be a fan, Joe.
I mean, you want him to get. You're rooting against him now. You wanted him to retire.
I
mean, this is horrible, man.
I've watched boxing for over 50 years. I know what I see. He's done.
Stop bragging about that now. Come on. I want to ask you for your resume. Well, let me ask you a quick question. Who's your favorite football team this week? I mean, what's your favorite football team?
The Bengals, son.
Same football team. I've had the same football team for over 50 years. I'm a diehard Raiders fan. Okay.
He likes the Bengals. He's just messing with you. He's got to say that because he's out in California.
Raiders. Come on, Raiders.
What'd you think of that
stadium they got out there?
What'd you think of that Will Smith slap?
Yeah, did you see that?
I thought that was pathetic on both parts.
What would you do?
Rock shouldn't have said it.
Oh,
come on! It was a joke, Robbie. We joke. We joke with you all every week, man. Are we going to be censored too? Come on.
Yeah,
you know what? It's a good thing we're not close, man. Robbie will slap you.
Robbie, let me ask you a question.
No, hey, I don't believe in slapping. I believe in using my fist. Man.
Wow, he said he'd cave the side of your face in, son.
So, Robert,
wow,
if Will Smith slapped you, you would just counter him with an overhand right. You wouldn't even slap back. You punch him, right?
He pulled that Canelo on him.
That's correct. That'd break him out. Lay him out.
Whoa. What do you think of Jada Smith banging 23-year-olds, right? And telling telling Will Smith about it.
I don't. Don't get me started. Don't get me started on their kind of relationship. I do
Jesus
not
Christ.
approve.
That's horrible, man.
Terrible.
Imagine.
I do not. I do not approve of that kind of relationship.
That's so crazy.
All right, Robert, we're going to get running, man. I'm going to keep you on hold here. And then we might
right.
go back to you here. Team Batman said Robbie would definitely put that dude in the figure 4 lock.
Robbie would he'd be sitting there shit in his pants. I'm sorry, Mr. Smith. I'm sorry, Mr. Smith. Little slip of the tongue. Never happen again, I promise.
Oh my goodness. So let's talk about it just for a second here. I thought of like an interesting premise here. Would you, if the third fight with Canelo does happen, say he wins this fight this weekend, can you imagine at 40 some odd years old, I guess he's going to be 40 or he is 40. I know he's 40 now, but I don't know if he'll turn 41 this year. He's already had a birthday. That I don't know. But can you imagine him being 40 years old and somehow pulling off with that? How big of an upset would that be if he beats Canelo in September?
That'd be crazy.
I mean, that's a huge upset, right?
That would be crazy. Crazy.
And I'm going to make another prediction here. If Triple G like wins a split decision or he doesn't look good in this fight and gets a gift or something like that, I don't think that third fight happens.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think that third fight happens. Because again, you got to look at the finances of it. It's going to be worth substantially less if he loses, so they're not going to have it.
Yeah.
But if he wins, but he looks like garbage and looks washed.
What I'm being told is this: there's a lot of people in Mexico that want to see Canelo knock out Golovkin.
A lot of people do, man. That's what Chakal was saying, man.
They just want to see that fight.
Yeah. I don't get that. But, I mean, whatever, you know.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I don't get it, man, but is what it is. But on a scale of upsets, where would you rank that? That's a pretty big one, huh?
It's a big one, yeah.
I don't think it's Tyson Douglas upset, but
what were the odds? Let me see if I can find some early odds on Canelo versus Golovkin.
That would be a big one, man.
Okay. So I'm curious to see this Golovkin. I wonder if there's even odds for it. Golovkin,
Canelo 3.
Golovkin, Canelo 3 odds. See if they have early odds for that.
That's right. Okay, so
Alvarez is a minus 350 and Golovkin's a plus 260. Wow,
that's close.
That's fucking close, man. Shit.
Really? Wow. I'd lay the rent check down on Alvarez, son.
Wow.
I might just lay the rent check down on Alvarez so I can make some money, early money, cash money. Money. I'm saying that's how we do it around here in Cincy. All right. Let's talk about the news and rumors here. Inoue versus Donaire 2. The rematch. Naoya Inoue, Nonito Donaire set for June 7th in Japan. Beeb, I thought that first fight was a wash. I thought that he's going to take Donaire to school. I thought he's going to wipe him out because nobody was even laying a glove on him at that time, on Inoue at the time, and that was Inoue's most competitive fight of his career still to this day. That's a good fight. I cannot wait for that fight.
Yeah, I don't think that this fight's going to be as competitive as that first fight. I think that Inoue did some good work towards the end of that fight, and I think he was starting to figure out Donaire. And he had a fractured orbital bone in that fight, and I think that played a part in it. Him having some shaky moments.
That was in the second round, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that happened early.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be a fight where I think Inoue really shines, and he's going to have like a big knockout in this fight. Like this second fight is going to go like how we thought the first fight should have gone.
Okay.
You know what I mean? In my opinion.
Yeah.
No, and I love Nonito Donaire, man.
I do too.
He's the nicest guy in the world, man. He's a guy you root for.
Yeah.
But this is going to be that fight that, you know, the train stops here. In other words, you know, he's been on a little run right now, but this is going to be the last stop on the train.
You know, he's another one who kind of resurrected himself after losing to Regendow.
Yes, he
did.
You
know, and everybody just counted him out because that was such a one-sided defeat. You know, they were like, okay, this guy's a one-trick pony and this and that. And now, I mean, he's completely reinvented himself. And yeah, there you go. Discussions are underway for Jaime Munguia versus Daniel Jacobs. Golden Boy announced these two are in talks to fight. I'm not super excited about this fight. I'd rather see Munguia and Charlo, but there's still a step up for Munguia, no question about it. Jacobs is definitely on the dark side here of his career. Munguia's on the upswing here. So this is a good test for Munguia because Daniel Jacobs is not a pushover. You know, he doesn't have a lot left in the tank, but he's still got the tank. You know what I mean? He could still fight a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same speed I got a catch weight. I don't know. Does the fight really make sense though? I mean, is Jacobs that?
This fight doesn't make sense at all.
Like, I don't know. I'd rather see him fight a middleweight contender, you know?
I would too. That's why I said, I mean, I'm not super excited about the fight. It's a good fight. I mean, I'll watch it. These are two definitely skilled guys in there. But yeah, it makes zero sense.
Well, this was a fight. This was
trying to build this guy's standpoint.
This was news that Cappinger reported, so we don't know how accurate it is, but we'll see.
What are you talking about? Cappinger reported it, son.
Dan Raphael came out. You know what he said? He said that he said something that Coppinger was jumping the gun out or something on this one. He was like calling him out on this one. Dan Raphael always calls out Coppinger.
Where does Dan Raphael work now? Oh, he's unemployed. That's right. He used to work at ESPN. Who works at ESPN now?
He works.
What's that dude's name, Beeb? The guy that works at ESPN.
Mike Coppinger.
Coppinger, yes, Mike Coppinger. He's now the guy that works at ESPN.
I think,
and if I remember correctly, he fired Dan Raphael. Had him clean out his desk, son. All the crackers, everything, all the papers, all of it, boxed up and gone. I heard security marched him out the front door. That's what I heard.
Never. Come on.
So I'm just saying. That's what I heard.
Cut it out. Did he even have an office?
In the know.
Did he even have an office? I mean, didn't he work?
He was in the basement. He's Dan Raphael. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know. That's what I heard, though. Those rumors I heard.
That's hilarious.
Dwayne says, wasn't Munguia even the mandatory for Andrade? I heard that somewhere. No. It was Halakuli. Was it? I can't ever remember that guy's name, but it's the guy from Europe, the Kazakhstan guy or something like that.
Yeah.
He's going to fight. They're going to fight. And then the winner gets that belt because Andrade just vacated. Didn't he vacate it? Because he's moving up. He's going to fight somebody else. He's not going to fight either one of those two, or
I think he's fighting a mandatory, actually. I
don't know. I thought he was dropping the belt and moving up.
No, I think he's fighting that mandatory. Let me double check if I remember correctly. He's fighting Zach Parker. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize to you. He's fighting Zach Parker. He did move up. I apologize. He's fighting Zach Parker for the World Boxing Organization interim world super middleweight title. You are correct, sir.
Who is Zach Parker?
He's a guy that's promoted by Frank Warren. He's supposed to be pretty good, actually.
Oh my God.
He's 22-0 with 16 knockouts.
I gotta be honest, man. I'm done with Andrade.
I don't know.
I gotta be honest, man. Listen, like I like him, and I always thought that he could be like the class of that division. But I don't know what the deal is. I mean, like he will fight. I mean, he's not fighting any name guys, and he's had opportunities to fight name guys.
Yeah.
You know,
Crazy.
I mean, like, dude, like he's got all the talent in the world. He really
Well,
does.
he
Got all
vacated
the
his
talent.
title. He vacated his middleweight title because he didn't want to fight his mandatory down there.
Yeah,
So
I don't get it, man.
that's crazy.
Yep. Even Dwayne heard that. He said security rolled Rafael out the front door. Even Dwayne heard it, man.
That never happened. Come on.
That's what I heard. Apparently, he heard it too.
Come on.
Oh, stop it.
No one's going to do that to Dan Rafael.
I don't know. Just saying. Just saying. All right. So Devin Haney and George Kambosos is now official. The fight is set for June 5th in Melbourne, Australia. Beeb, I can't wait.
Now,
this is a solid fight.
You've been high on Devin Haney for a while.
I have.
And this is going to be an opportunity for you to say I told you so to a lot of people, because I think Devin Haney is going to win this fight and win this fight big. I just think it's a horrible style matchup for George Kambosos. And the thing about Devin Haney is he's not going to fight a reckless fight like Teofimo Lopez did. You're going to get the best version of Devin Haney.
The best. This is Floyd Mayweather 2 right here.
Yeah, this is going to be one of these fights where you're like, wow. Yeah. I think Devin Haney is going to show and prove in this fight. And
Devin Haney washes this guy.
I believe so too. Devin Haney is very fast, right? And George Kambosos is kind of a guy he lays back. He's a counterpuncher type guy, right? And he fights in spurts, right? But Devin Haney is a guy that throws a lot of volume, right? He's a stick and move type guy. He's got a great jab, right? And he's physically strong. Even when he's hurt, he knows how to hold on and grab and gather himself. Gets the second guy. Yeah, he gets this big guy. Yeah, very well conditioned. Gets the second win. Throws a ton of punches, and he's got a very underrated left hook. I think Devin Haney is a very great fighter, man. He's got a lot of potential, and I think this is going to be his opportunity to shine. I
do too. I mean, I'll take any pie bet on this one.
Yeah.
I got, my feeling on Haney. I think he's the best fighter. I think he's one of the best fighters in the world. I've always thought that way. He's certainly the best lightweight right now.
Yeah. The thing is when you're a guy like Kambosos, you like to set traps, you like to wait, you like to counterpunch. When you got a guy who's going to get off first and he's going to be much quicker than you, it's going to be hard to time this guy coming in. And Devin Haney's not looking for that one perfect punch. He's not loading up. He will touch, keep you occupied, and he'll mix in those hard shots.
Yeah, it's never he's throwing with bad intentions all the time.
Yeah.
He's off speed a lot. If you notice, you watch him, he's always off speed quite a bit. He mixes that in. I mean, his footwork is on point. His speed's on point. He's got power because he's got speed.
Yeah.
He can put you away.
Doesn't stand still. Doesn't stand still either. Once he punches, he's always moving. He's never going to stay in front of you.
Let me tell you what. You could have three. I'm going to tell you right now. You can have 3 Australian judges there. This fight's only going one way. Devin Haney, man.
I agree with you.
No question.
I agree with you.
No question. But I can't wait to see it. And I heard it's going to be on ESPN too. I heard it's going to be on ESPN, not pay-per-view or anything like that, which is great.
Oh, it's not going to be on pay-per-view. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I read. Now, whether it is or not, that's a different story. But that's what I read. It's going to be on ESPN.
Yeah, it's probably going to be on Australian pay-per-view, but not here in the States.
Yeah, I would imagine. That's
good.
And I'll tell you what, I imagine listen, man, Kambosos pulls off another upset. You imagine?
Yeah.
That's a big one too, man.
Kambosos is acting really weird now. Like he's like kind of like saying, "Oh, I chose you." You were forced to take this fight. Like he's acting saying really crazy things. He's acting out. He's acting out of character here. He was so humble going into the Teofimo fight, but now all of a sudden he's just, "Oh, I'm the emperor. I chose you.
Yeah,
you do what I say." It's like, come on, bro. You sound like a comic book character now.
I mean, he's on top. Enjoy the ride while you can, because it's going to come June 6th. It's going to be.
And then they got a rematch clause. Then they got a rematch. See, I don't like the fact that you have a rematch clause, because what if the fight is so one-sided that we don't want to see a rematch?
You don't have to have it. I mean, that's the thing. You don't have to exercise that rematch clause. You know what I mean? And if it's that bad of a fight, nobody's going to want to see that. And you know, so they'll talk him out of it or whatever. I mean, it's not, you know. I mean, how often like rematch clauses? I mean, you know, again, man, we've seen those where he has rematch and he gets knocked out in one round, and then nobody's going to watch that rematch.
Crazy.
You know,
it's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, man, Kambosos, Devin Haney, man, I cannot wait for that. In Melbourne, that place is going to be packed. I think it's in a stadium too, if I'm not mistaken. But
Marvel Stadium, it's called. Yeah.
Yes, Marvel Stadium. God, can you imagine? What is it? And what does it probably hold about 80,000 or something crazy? It's got to hold
like that.
something stupid.
Let's take a look and see how much that holds. I'm curious. Marvel Stadium, because they're Australians come out. They like their boxing.
Yeah.
They like their boxing.
A hometown kid like Kambosos, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. They're gonna pack that, man. It holds 53,359 people.
That place is gonna be packed.
But is that for a football game? What is the biggest stadium in Australia? Okay, the Melbourne Cricket Ground is the biggest stadium.
Really?
Yeah.
Cricket's that big over there?
I guess, yeah.
What is it, like baseball or something like that?
I think so, yeah. I think it's their sport, man. I wonder how many seats are actually going to be available though. Marvel Stadium capacity. I want to put capacity for boxing. I wonder if it can hold more than that.
Yeah, Jeff Horn versus Pac was full, so I imagine this will fill up too.
Yeah, I guess they're saying that for boxing it can hold. It's close to 60,000. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
53,000, 60,000 ish. Yeah.
Once Haney wins this fight, okay, let's just say he wins this fight on June 5th. Say he wins this fight. I think at that point he becomes the money man in the division.
Of course, yeah.
And Haney doesn't have the floor personality where he's going to come out and make himself a heel or make himself a good guy, you know, a man of the people, that kind of thing. Haney's just Haney. So he's going to need some help with this, you know what I mean? As far as, you know, getting these big money fights, you know, so I hope that doesn't slow him down. But listen, man, when you're fighting with all the belts, you're the guy now. Everybody's going to want a piece of you.
Oh yeah.
You know, so that will definitely bring more people to him, more eyes to him, and everything like that. Yeah, I hope, you know, this guy gets big. I hope he does get big time. We need another star, you know. So I hope
he's making good money too.
Sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, especially for, you know, for his popularity and stuff, because I don't believe he's that popular. He's not a household name. He's not a guy that anybody knows outside of the sport, you know.
Yeah.
Even if you have like a solid casual fan, might not even know who this guy is.
He's not crossover, no.
No, for sure, no. Not yet, but maybe.
Not
Who
just
knows?
yet.
All right, Beeb. So the world is talking about this. I figure we ought to talk about this too. Unless you've been living under a rock, last week at the Oscars, Chris Rock told a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, who has alopecia, by the way, so she has no hair, and she's bald, so she just shaves her head, and said something about, I'll see you in G.I. Jane 2, G.I. Jane referring, of course, to the movie, you know, where Demi Moore shaved her head. And, you know, apparently Will Smith thought the joke was funny until he looked over at Jada and she rolled her eyes. Will Smith then gets up out of his seat, walks calmly to Chris Rock and slaps him hard. I mean, it looked like a good slap. I mean, you know, walks back to his seat and then says twice with his voice like shaking, keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth, you know. And of course, all that was bleeped and stuff like that, or silenced or whatever. But I'll tell you what, man, when I first saw this, because I read about it, then I pulled it up on YouTube because I'm not watching the Oscars. I thought, my God, like, is this guy really that soft that somebody says something like, you're a celebrity in the front row with Chris Rock up on stage, You've never seen this happen before, where everybody in the front row gets roasted, like every star imaginable out there up for awards is getting roasted by the comedian up front? You know?
She's got him wrapped so tight.
It's bad.
It's bad. He made a statement that growing up, you know, he had that issue with his dad beating his mother, and he felt guilty because he didn't do anything to stop it or whatever. And he said, because of that and the way he grew up, that he hated to ever disappoint a woman. And he felt as though when a woman was disappointed in him, it meant that she didn't love him, right? So any show of disappointment directed his way from a woman means that woman doesn't love him in his mind. So that would bother him. He said that. It's a quote in his book, right? So to me, you know, he's so wrapped up with Jada, right? He's so wrapped up with Jada that whatever she wants to do, he's going to do it because he doesn't want to disappoint her, because he feels as though if she's disappointed, then she doesn't love me anymore. You know what I mean? So he is being so manipulated by her, and he's not really her type. She is with him for status only, and that's it. You know, and she probably, obviously, he seems like he's a great father, whatever. So she probably likes that about him. But she is with him for status only. She's going through Arrested Development right now. She wants to be 25 again. She wants to bang young guys. She wants to bang 23 and 21-year-olds. She likes the bad boys. She likes the Tupacs. May he rest in peace. And she likes these young rapper type guys. Will Smith is like the nice guy, right? She's everything that he's everything that she doesn't want, doesn't like. You know, and then they're you know, she's sitting there talking to him that show that she had, the red table, and he's asking her why did she sleep with that guy, whatever the rapper's name is, and he's like, oh well, you know, I just
August, wasn't it? Was it August or something?
August something, right?
Yeah.
I just needed to feel happy. Well,
that's what we call grounds for divorce, son.
I'm not making you happy. I mean, like, am I less than? And then she was like saying that she was saying before in interviews that like he like that Will Smith doesn't do it for her sexually or whatever. So what the fuck you with the guy for then? You know? I mean, this you know, eventually this just can't last. I mean, eventually he's gonna have to divorce her. So
he's got to.
So he only went up.
Save face he has to, man.
So he only went up there basically because she wanted him to go up there, right? So no matter what she asks you to do, you're just gonna do it. And then when he did it, she's laughing, right?
Did you see that? Yeah, she started laughing at it.
So the reason why she does these things is because she loves the fact that she has this power over him, and it makes her feel good that this guy, the status of Will Smith, I can control this guy, right? It's intoxicating sometimes for not only women but people, knowing that they can control other people. They have dominance over other people. It's a sick way to go about your life, really.
Right.
It's a narcissistic way to go about your life. It's a very selfish way to go about your life, because you're taking pleasure in belittling and manipulating and controlling other people and having dominance over them, right? And meanwhile, he's the man. He's supposed to be the man of the house, right? He's supposed I'm protecting her. Protecting her from what? From being called a name? She was in danger? She was in danger by a 5'9", 150-pound man who was 200 fucking yards away from her, right? And cracked a harmless joke. Isn't G.I. Jane like supposed to be like that would be a compliment. Like G.I. Jane was a strong woman.
Strong woman. Wasn't she going in the SEALs or something? I don't know.
She was in the Navy SEAls. Yeah, correct. Yeah, strong woman.
Right.
That's not a derisive term, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, that was a pretty, it wasn't. And how did, again, like, well, they said, well, he didn't know she had alopecia or whatever. That shouldn't have mattered. Cares? It's a joke.
Well,
You're up there. You know, if you sit in the front row at a comedy club, you're going to get goofed on. Chances are pretty good that you're going to get goofed on by one of the comedians. You know? That's it, man.
Yeah, so it's stupid.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that
Now,
the fact that she like cheated on him and he still stayed with her and made light of it, because I saw that red table thing or whatever you're talking about. He was over there making light of it, you know. Oh, you're right.
And he was always
he had a big smile on his face and everything.
Yeah, but you could see at first he had a look of like disappointment. Like he looked disappointed, man. And then like he started. There was like a nervous type smile. You know what I mean? He grew up a traditional type guy. He was always a conservative guy, and then he's like saying, "Oh well, she convinced me of this to go along with like convinced me that this is okay to have this type of lifestyle, whatever. She showed me the way or whatever." It's like no, she didn't, man. No, she manipulated you.
Did you see? And I, again, because this happened, all this stuff comes back from the past. All this videos get returned, and you get to watch those and everything like that. So Willow Smith, which is Will Smith's daughter, right, wrote an open letter to Tupac, and I guess Tupac and Jada used to date. I guess
they didn't used to date, but they were very friendly, and it never got to.
Something tells me.
Yeah, something tells me something could have happened, but I don't know. They say nothing happened sexually, but go ahead,
yeah, right. Yeah, okay, yeah, but so right, because neither one of them were willing. So anyway, she wrote Willow Smith, his daughter, wrote an open letter this is when she was like 11 or 12. I don't know how old she is now, so this has been some time.
He's like 21, 22 or something like that.
Yeah, so maybe 10 years ago or whatever. She wrote an open letter to Tupac saying, hey, you make my mom so happy. I wish you were here now to make my mom happy. She's just miserable without you, blah, blah, blah. And this letter goes on by an 11-year-old Willow, right? Willow never met Tupac. You know what I mean? Like, she never met Tupac. She doesn't know Tupac from anything.
Well, she probably was listening to her mother talk about him.
That's an odd thing. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree.
I mean, if your wife is telling your daughter about her ex and about how great he was and this and that, that's a little cause for concern. And then your daughter writes this note.
Well, then Will Smith
your house is in shambles, son.
Yeah. Will Smith also said that he was very jealous of Tupac. He wished that Jada liked him the way she liked Tupac. He said that. It's like, what the fuck are you doing with this woman, man? You're Will Smith. You can get anyone you want. You can get anyone you want.
There's got to be something about her. You know what I mean? Something. I don't know, but
I don't know what it is,
something, man.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
I can't make sense of it.
No. All I know is his life is going to be in shambles now. Well, did you hear when this happened? I think the craziest part to me is when this happened, the Academy went to him and says, "We need you to leave," and he says, "I'm not going anywhere."
Yeah, I don't.
Police were backstage, saying that they could press charges, this and that. Everybody kind of declined that or whatever. But look, when the Academy asks you to leave and you say, "I'm not going," son, we got a problem.
I just don't know what. I don't know what to believe in that situation, because if the police, like, how bad did the Academy really want him to leave? Like,
they asked him to leave.
Like, but,
I mean, do you really want to cause a scene? After the scene that just went down, do you want to cause another one by escorting?
That's a good. I never thought of that. Maybe they were thinking of the optics of having the cops come over there and escorting him out, and how bad that would look on television. Very good point. I never thought of that. That's an excellent point.
I think it was more of a, people.
We don't want to make this look like be broadcast.
Than it is.
Be broadcast on pub. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So
I never thought of that.
That's what I'm thinking. Just the optics of it is just bad, and they had to be embarrassed. I mean, somebody slapping another entertainer. I mean, it was great TV, and people are talking about it. And I bet people watch the Oscars next year. But again, that's not the kind of, if they don't want that there. That's not the venue for that.
Chris Rock just did a show here in Boston.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, over the weekend. And I heard it was really good.
Yeah. And but he didn't talk about the incident. He touched on it and said he was still processing it or whatever. And then yeah.
It's crazy,
man.
I don't know what to think about that whole fucking thing.
Well, I think he shouldn't have done it. And I guess he left the academy. I guess he resigned from the academy.
But here's
I don't know what that means, though.
I do know what that means because I researched it. So when you're a member of the academy, like you vote on who should be nominated, and you get a vote on who should win awards and stuff.
Gotcha.
But now that doesn't mean he still can't go to the awards.
Well, that's what they're searching. I guess that's what they're looking into because they sent out a thing saying that they're gonna look for discipline and everything like that. They were talking about he could get that award taken away. He could get that Oscar taken away.
I don't think that will happen because they didn't take any of Harvey Weinstein's away. They didn't take of Roman Polanski's away, and they So.
If you didn't take any of Weinstein's away,
yeah.
I mean,
So.
And who was it? I'm trying to think of who it was that had that. Who said that about him? About Will? I guess Will Smith. I'll come back to it because I lost it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this goes. It'll be interesting to see where this takes him. As far as Jim Carrey, that's it. Centurion's son, Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey said that, when he went up there to accept his award, because just 30 minutes later, he wins the best picture or whatever. He wins best actor or whatever it is. So he goes up there to accept his award. And thank you so much, Centurion's son. Jim Carrey said, they all gave him like a standing ovation. They all gave him applause and everything like that. Instead of not, clapping, people walking out, people whatever. That's what they decided to do. All of Hollywood also turned their back on Harvey Weinstein, knowing that he was doing all this stuff. But until he had enough momentum to get caught, and then you knew he was going downhill, then all of a sudden people come out of the woodwork, start condemning him. I know he's been doing this for years. What kind of culture is that?
Oprah Winfrey. And this is what angers me about Oprah Winfrey.
Hate Oprah Winfrey.
She makes a movie about Michael Jackson after he passes away and just destroys the guy, right? But she's sitting there taking pictures with Harvey Weinstein. Where's the Harvey Weinstein movie, Oprah? Where's that movie?
Wasn't he convicted? Wasn't Harvey Weinstein convicted?
Harvey Weinstein's in jail.
But was he actually convicted or is he waiting trial?
No, he's in jail. He
was convicted. Okay.
He went to jail, bro.
Not for nothing. Michael Jackson, never convicted.
I'm going to say something very controversial. I honestly don't believe Michael Jackson did anything to those kids. I don't think he did.
They changed their story over and over. Those two kids, those two that really had, the case. They changed their stories. Is what
Michael Jackson, in my opinion, is just one of the greatest human beings in the world ever. He had the purest heart, I think. I really do. I really believe this about Michael Jackson. Obviously I didn't meet him personally, but
right.
He just seemed to me to be just such a great person. And I think that because he missed out on his childhood, this was just basically arrested development. He's just reliving his childhood with other kids. I don't think anything sexual ever went on with any of those kids, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I just don't believe it.
If it did, Macaulay Culkin and all those guys, none of them came out against him. None of them.
I don't.
All the lawsuits in the past have been dropped or they've been settled.
And
I don't know,
for
man.
Oprah to do what she did to that family, I lost a lot of respect for her. I really did. Really horrible. Did.
Priceless. Did you see OJ's reaction?
Yes.
To the slap?
Yes.
You saw this?
Yes.
OJ said on Twitter, took to Twitter the very next day, it says, let me tell you something. If I was up there and I slapped Chris Rock, they would throw the book at me. I would be in jail right now. He said, I'd never see daylight. You forget about the time you murdered those two people too? Does that count or what? I don't understand.
This guy just can't stay out of the limelight, man.
Guy's a moron. Once you got off from that trial, just shut up because you got lucky. Just shut up and get out of town. Move to Florida. Don't ever be heard from again. That's simple.
Go move to the Bahamas or someplace. Go live on a fucking island, bro.
Go live somewhere where they don't know you. You know what I mean? Somewhere, you know. That to me was just priceless. Priceless.
It's ridiculous.
All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1 and find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. You can find me on Twitter at ringside73, and we will see you next week.